16-year-old Holly Newton 36 times, then tried to tell police he was the victim.
You've been too horrible to me.
The 16-year-old knew full well who the real victim was.
Do you know her name? Holly Newton. Who? Holly Newton. Newton.
Holly Newton was MacPhail's ex-girlfriend. She'd ended their 18-month relationship and he couldn't take it. The court heard how MacPhail was obsessed with Holly and getting back together. CCTV footage shows him alone in the quiet town of Hexham in Northumberland, trying to keep a low profile as he stalks Holly and her friends for an hour after school, eventually confronting her at a bus stop before luring her into an alleyway and launching his attack. An attack so brutal, the blade of the knife snapped.
Holly was a child. Although you were not an adult, she was no match for you, armed with a knife. She had severe injuries as she sought to defend herself from the knife. She must have realised before she died, I'm afraid, that she was fighting for her life.
Logan MacPhail, now 17, is starting a life sentence tonight with a minimum term of 17 years. He claimed he wanted to kill himself, not Holly, but had blacked out. The judge, though, said MacPhail knew what he was doing. The night before he killed Holly, he travelled 40 miles to her house. Holly's mum was so worried about MacPhail's behaviour that she'd contacted the police.
He didn't like her to go out. He didn't want her to go out with her friends. He needed to know where she was all the time, even if she was just at home. He wanted to know what she was doing. He changed her passwords on all of her social media. There was just a lot of controlling behaviours going on. He definitely felt that if he couldn't have her, then nobody could. What we didn't know is he meant it.
Holly was under 16, so too young to be legally recognised as a victim of domestic abuse. Yet her mum believes that's exactly what she was and is now calling for a change in the law in her daughter's memory.
Holly Newton was just 17 years old when her boyfriend stalked her and stabbed her multiple times. This is a clear case of stalker behavior of a person clearly obsessed. I am going to share some notes from the article of this story. A teenager accused of murdering a 15-year-old girl said his mind went blank while he was stabbing her. The 17-year-old boy told Newcastle Crown Court he could not remember attacking Holly Newton in an alleyway in Hexham in January 2023. Holly, who just hours earlier had complained of the then 16-year-old boy stalking her, was stabbed multiple times, Newcastle Crown Court has heard. On his fifth day giving evidence, the defendant, who has admitted manslaughter but denies murder, said he did not want to hurt Holly.
Was Logan MacPhail, 16 at the time, now 17. On the day of the attack, CCTV footage showed him following Holly and her friends around Hexham. When he eventually confronted her, he led her away down an alleyway and attacked her for almost a minute, killing her and injuring her friend who tried to intervene.
It's like watching a horror movie and you know the ending. You can't change it. If he couldn't have her, then nobody could.
It's creating a new life, not living the life what you were before Holly died. It's making all the little adjustments just so you can carry on.
Put your hands behind your back.
MacPhail, who has learning difficulties and autism, was arrested at the scene. He later claimed he'd blacked out during the attack and had only carried the knife to harm himself.
It was the sheer number. It was 36 uses of the knife within a very short space of time, less than a minute, of such severity that at some point during the attack the knife broke. Whether that was on Holly or the floor, that takes a lot to snap a knife, and to still continue causing injuries with what was left of the knife, which is why some of the injuries were more shallow.
Tragically, on the day Holly died, a planned meeting between her family and police to discuss their concerns about MacPhail had been pushed back to allow Holly to spend the afternoon with her friends. MacPhail remained silent in court as he was sentenced to serve a minimum of 17 years in prison.
Holly was a child. Although you were not an adult, she was no match for you, armed with a knife. She must have realized before she died, I'm afraid, that she was fighting for her life. What happened in this case should not happen to any child or parent.
As MacPhail's jail term begins, Holly's family
Under questioning from his barrister Nigel Edwards KC, the boy, who cannot be identified because of his age, said his mind went blank during the attack and he could not remember stabbing Holly. He said he had taken an old, blunt kitchen knife from his home so he could hurt or kill himself, and he genuinely thought he was stabbing himself with it during the attack. The boy also said he played video games which had guns and knives in, and when someone was killed they would always come back to life. He was asked if he had ever talked about stabbing people in real life, and the boy said no, other than jokes with friends about trying to stab between their toes while missing their feet. Did you ever want to stab anybody? Mr. Edwards asked. No, replied the boy, who has been diagnosed with autism. Mr. Edwards asked the defendant if he wanted to kill or hurt Holly, to which the boy replied, no. In cross-examination by prosecutor David Brooke KC, the boy said he went into Hexham that day to speak to Holly and deliberately followed her, but then changed his mind about talking to her. He said he went to walk past her when she spoke to him, and they then talked for about 15 minutes before he attacked her. The youth said he did, except he stabbed Holly, but he could not remember doing it. Mr. Brooke asked how, if the boy's mind was blank, he could remember thinking he was hurting himself during the attack. That's normally what I do when I go blank, the youth replied. Mr. Brooke also asked about other fights the youth had been involved in. The boy said he had fought before, but only to look after or defend people, adding, I don't really like seeing bullies. He previously said he had had bad thoughts in his head before the attack and his mind was making him see things that were not really there. The boy also denies wounding another youth who was injured while trying to stop the attack on Holly. Holly, from Hawkwhistle, had 36 injuries inflicted by a knife which snapped during the assault. The court has heard. The trial continues, but I will encourage you to look into the story itself, come up with your concerns. I hope you enjoy the video. Thank you.